It'd be fucking funny.
We're live, Nate. Come on, where's your music?
Oh, what? I haven't even done my pre-show bit yet.
Oh, well, go on, do it.
I'll get that out. I can't do that.
Go on.
You
Play your
come
music.
too quick. And no, I haven't got my Bluetooth ready. This is.
Hey!
Behind the scenes, Blake and I were like, it's countdown, and we were looking at photos on Facebook, and I was sharing photos of a guy who used to play American football with in Wellington, Big Paddy Blackman, and
We saw his bum.
we saw his bum. He's got a photo on his Facebook page. I was like, man, this dude's an ox. He's huge. And then I was like, and we're live in 3, 2. And he's like, no, hang on, wait. And then Ace goes, just go live. And so this is...
No, because I realised my light wasn't on. Okay, right. So you are listening to this. This is the show of the Daily Debrief, May the 18th.
Mate, yeah,
that good?
It's,
Or you're
it's a
watching
great
it?
day. Yeah.
Or you do something like that. You know what? It's a great day today, eh?
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Chow Yun Fat. It's his
Young
birthday.
fat.
He's
No, we haven't.
66 today. He's the guy from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. So there you go, the Chinese guy. So that's what. Look, tonight on the pod, or this morning on the pod, whenever you're listening to it, or whatever, here at the Daily Debrief. Of course, we are live in the Hornets' Nest in Tamworth, which is where Blake Ashford is right now. We are live in the place, which I believe the Māori name means the place of 1,000 barbers. That is
Okay.
Chiatsu, and that's where Piet is right now. And we will have Caleb Clarke coming up with us on the show, so this is pretty good. What's been tickling your fancy today there, boys? What's been going on? Yeah, man. What's happening, Piet?
Well, let's go with Ace first, because Ace has just come back from training. We're allowed to say that, eh, Ace? You've been training
we
with the
could say
Warriors.
that. Yeah. Well, it's been well documented that there's been a couple of injuries. I think it's out in the media now that Jazz and Leeson are down.
Yeah.
And Fuss is still in isolation, so he's not here. So at the moment, they just need someone to fill in for a bit. So yeah, while I'm here, they got me
It's
for
your boy.
free. They got me for free, so it's your boy.
Likelihood, Blake, that the body holds up if this goes on for much longer.
So I've just done my first session, and I was just complaining to you that it was. Oh shit! There's an ass.
There's Paddy's ass again. Sorry, just
There's
thought.
Paddy's ass.
That's what I'll probably feel like after one more session.
I'm not sure Paddy would want me sharing that, but that's his ass. Yeah, big dude. Sorry.
So Blake, because is it contact sessions yet, or are you holding pads, or you're doing
No, they're doing. So they only need us for the 13 versus 13. So they have a scrimmage sort of thing just to get everyone back in the groove. All teams do it, but obviously the Warriors are a bit short on numbers because of all the injuries they've had.
Yeah.
So I had to jump in, mate. And
What?
It's on. And we got our own thermometer today too.
Oh, you got a thermometer. So everyone on the team gets one?
Yeah, everyone on the team gets one, and you've got to test yourself.
Don't use that yet, because I think our guest had to get. There he is.
Oh,
Yes,
yes.
Caleb.
Hey,
Hey.
good everyone.
Caleb Clarke. How are you, fella?
Nathan.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, there we go. So look, now I know that you were back at Blues training today, so we'll expand on that a little bit there. But Blake is in Tamworth right now with the Warriors, and so Blake, you were going to show us the precautions that they're using. So what's this you've got?
So this is an up-to-date new age thermometer,
Right.
and we've got our own things that we have to put in the air, check the temperature every morning before we can leave.
Can I just start question,
Yeah.
Nate? And I'm no doctor, but I thought there was a more accurate reading when when it's taken from the anus. That's why they always used to do with the. That's why they do it with pets and stuff. Like it just.
Yeah.
So are you sure you're using it correctly, Blake?
Yeah,
Have you tried it?
Probably
Caleb
not.
will back us up. That's where you're supposed to use it, Blake.
Well, how about tomorrow I test it out and then I'll get back to you. I've got plenty of probes.
Plenty of
see how it
probes.
Yeah.
You'll take it back and they'll be like, "This is dirty. What's happening?" Anyway, let's raise the
Mate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Caleb Clarke's with us, and all around the nation, Super Rugby teams were back training today. But I think it might have just been backs. Maybe I got what I was watching on TV3 tonight wrong. But Caleb, I saw you there. Just a quick peek. I thought I might have been on Twitter or something. I thought that looked like Olympic-bound Caleb Clarke, but there's no Olympics this year. So what's the deal, man? You're back full time with the Blues. What's the story?
Yeah, so got the call from from Leon a couple of weeks ago, or maybe just over a week, saying that I might have to come back for Super Rugby, and so that was a pretty cool call to have, especially when we didn't know what was happening for sevens, especially with all the borders being closed around the world. So I felt like sevens didn't have much of a sort of a pathway for the rest of this year. But no, I was pretty happy. Just wish that I did a bit more running and I was eating over the isolation period.
Oh, what a nightmare though! First day back, and they
Broncos.
put you straight into a Bronco. Like that to me that's. I don't think there's a tougher job in the world right now than first day back straight into a Bronco.
Yeah,
I was about to cry. I wanted to walk back, but it was quite a weird process because when we got to the Blues headquarters, we couldn't even really go inside. We all had to just wait in our cars till it was our turn to go see the physio, and so we just got there and we practically got kicked out first because we all walked in at the same time.
Oh,
so
no, distance.
Yeah. So the doctor didn't really like that, but no, we just sort of waited outside. All the nerves was building up. Well, my nerves were building up, and then I think I got more nervous when I saw Bowden Barrett walk past.
So,
Not just
like,
walk past,
so
too.
you, like you've been doing the sevens training, which is quite famously massively aerobic, and you know, and I don't know, like, did you drop some weight out of that or whatever, and like, I guess did you feel fitter off the back of it?
Yeah, definitely. Especially when we are sort of in the whole process. So the trainings were more intense than 15s, but it was a bit more shorter. So that sort of helped out a lot in terms of sevens. I did drop a bit of weight, and so that helped back then, but not helping now because I put it all back on. So doesn't really matter.
the whole world seen Bowden Barrett's time. I want to know your time.
Yeah. So Bowden ran a 4:12 for anyone watching.
That's
I've never seen it before ever. Like
same
with my own eyes, or even sort of just seeing a result of someone getting 4:12. I just got let's just say I got there was a 5 minute and under. I'll just say that.
4:59.9.
Anywhere between that.
Hey, that's good, man.
And I'm just thinking though, I've sat there and thought to myself, is the Bronco tailor-made for Bowden Barrett? Now you think about his skill sets, right, and his build and everything he does. He's quick off the mark, and we all know it. You know, you got to go up and then back, and up and back. And those who have good acceleration certainly excel in this. And I don't think there's anyone in the game that has acceleration with such a light frame like Bowden Barrett does. So I'm thinking, Caleb, I haven't worked it out in my head yet, but there would be the Bronco equivalent for your body type that you would set the record for, and everyone would be like, mean. But I don't think it's the Bronco yet. All right, maybe it's.
I think it's 100-meter sprint.
100-meter sprint. See, but that's where I was thinking it was. Bowden Barrett and that acceleration thing. It suits him to a T. And people were going on about Richie McCaw's great scores and numbers and stuff like that. Man, Bowden's way lighter, and Bowden is an accelerating man.
Exactly. I was even in our warm up because he warmed up next to me. I was still stitching, and he did his like warm up Bronco, like one of the reps, and it made me tired just watching him because it was so fast. I was like, bro, this dude's gonna blow out. He's gonna blow out, man. You're playing yourself right now. And then it comes to the real thing, and I was like, oh, never mind.
What conversations were you having in your head? Because you know when you're running it, you're like, oh yeah, that's lap 2. I've got 3 to go. Bloody hell! And then you start talking to yourself. What were you saying to yourself?
I was like, don't get overlapped. Don't let the quick guys catch you. Just try and stick to the same pace. But I don't even know what to think. What do you guys do the Bronco too, eh? Like,
yeah. I'm not going to reveal times.
4:12,
but yeah,
4:11.
times. Yeah, but yeah, I have big conversations with myself. Like, oh shit, there's 3 laps to go, and then I'm like, shit, and then when I get over 3, I'm like, oh, I had 2 laps to go, easy. And then last lap, you sprint it. But mate, that's why I wanted to know what your time was, because you're a big boy and you still beat me. So back to the drawing board.
Which rep is it?
Oh no, sorry, bro. No, I saw that Jonathan Ruru. He was on the show with us a couple of weeks ago, and we asked him what he thought the heaviest animal was that he could throw across a car, and he thought, well, maybe like a seal or a sea lion, like that. He wasn't that far off Bowden. He's like 2.5 seconds behind him, so he came in just under 4:15. Is that like, is Johnny normally a real gun at this, or has he been working hard?
Yeah, no, he's always like under 4. He's probably in the 420s or lower. That's why when I saw him actually get in the teens, I was like, oh, geez, this guy's actually pretty moving. But I think it's because, Bodie's there, and not many people would really push Ruru in the Bronco other than the other halfbacks, but he'll still beat them. So I think it was mean for him to have someone like Bodie there to to push him in something that he normally wins all the time.
Yeah, the whole idea of it, like, it scares me because it's a mental game, right? Like, of course, there's fitness to it, but there will be some people who deal with that mentally as well. Which brings me to this point. You had a big choice to make, obviously, with this year. Leaving the Blues and chasing Olympic gold, that's massive for a player because 15s always seems to have this prestige to it, and if you lose your spot and you go and chase 7s, there's a real chance that you stay in the 7s program, which isn't a bad career at all. I mean, we've seen some really good players, but there's always that feeling you want to play for the All Blacks. You want to be in the 15 side, and there's a chance you might lose your spot. So you took that choice this year. How cool for you that when it all sort of came crumbling down and the Olympics has been called off for now and postponed, that you were invited back to the Blues and just like, mate, we need you. That's a real credit to you as a player and as a person that they want you back that quickly.
Yeah, I was just real grateful to get that call because I didn't even know what was going to be happening for the rest of this year. So I was just happy that we can finally be like one back in a team environment because, just running by yourself sucks. And that's what I sort of struggled with, especially over this isolation period. But yeah, I was just like, when I had my one-on with with Leon, I was just saying like, thank you just for, thinking of me to come back because, they're having such a great season too. And I didn't want to come in and like ruin that as well. But at the same time, like still want to try and play. Yeah,
man, like you've got that it's hard to, I think it's hard to take that on, but you're obviously really special to them, and you're a good player and a good player to have around. That's an achievement for you, man. So well done, because there's a lot of talent. I mean, we all know how much talent's coming through the ranks. So for them to say, we want Caleb back, we get this opportunity. So good for you, man. Well done.
Thanks, Mark.
That wasn't even a question. That was just a statement. Sorry.
Wow, thanks, man. Too kind.
Like a lot of people did that thing where they went back to work and it's been Zoom meetings up until a couple of days ago for a lot of people, and in the offices, like people are going, "Oh, it's been great," and catching up with that. Did it feel the same for you to come back into the Blues like that?
Yeah, it was harder because we couldn't really shake each other's hands. We were just like, "Oh, hey, good to see you," but no, it was just good to see everyone again. Like instead of looking at a computer screen or looking at your phone, it's just good to make that like face to face contact. And so yeah, and plus I hadn't seen some of those guys in months, so it was just cool to catch up and get stuck into it. I guess we got contact tomorrow, so we'll really be cuddling up to each other then.
Ooh, contact. That isn't. I mean, the Warriors have faced great problems with the start of contact, and I think it's a. Blake,
are you guys doing contact yet, Blake? Are they allowed to?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay,
that's how some of the boys are getting injured. Contact.
Right.
Yeah.
So, any precautions, I guess that you know of that the Blues guys are going to take, knowing that if you're fresh out of COVID-19 lockdown and your fitness might not be right up. But have you heard anything about how they're going to approach this contact? I'm hoping it's not going to be full on straight away.
Just for me, yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry.
I can keep telling you how good you are, but this is actually.
I heard Blake's name, so I was like, oh, yeah, good question for Blake here.
Yeah.
I just saw that from the text from the physio, he just said it's a sort of 6 out of 10 sort of contact. So it's sort of just gradually welcoming us back.
Does that annoy you?
Blake says he's seen
that. Wait. Hang on a sec, Blake.
Explain this to us.
How much does that annoy you when they're like, I just go 60%? Well, hey, you're supposed to go 60% contact, and then you got one dude trying to make the team, and he's bumping people off, offloading.
It's always one. Hey, it takes one person,
and then it's full on. It's going to happen tomorrow. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
one person will come out and just go boom, offload, then it's all on.
And then, so hopefully the trainers will get a hold of that, but that does definitely happen though.
Caleb, who is it?
Even in the 7s.
Who is it? Who is it in the Blues that goes that little bit that is going to be the guy who goes and knocks someone out?
Oh, that's a good question. I know the one person you don't do it to is Blake Gibson, because if you do it to him once, he'll get you back the next time, and then that's when it'll start ramping up. So definitely not do it when I see Blake. I don't know who that guy would be though to like ramp it up. Maybe it is Blake. No.
Yeah. Well, then just go out and just smash everyone tomorrow. You be that guy. Go, I am. Have you been watching The Last Dance? I'm Michael Jordan and you insulted me. So I'm going to come and get you.
That's unreal, eh?
It is, eh? What have you made of him with that whole sort of revenge mindset, eh, that he's got? It's crazy.
Yeah. I didn't even realize, I knew he was a real hard trainer, but I didn't even, looking at the team or hearing their interviews saying how much of, sort of how he was at training, we would get up in their faces and stuff. I was like, bro, this just brings a whole nother like sort of point of view of Michael Jordan, just how much he really wanted it. It's
It's
just
funny
unreal.
you should say that. Yeah, I had this conversation with my brother-in-law yesterday when we had the family barbecue, and he'd come around and was talking about Michael Jordan and how he needed to have that attitude to be the champion that he was. And it's funny because I was talking to somebody earlier on in the week, and they were explaining to me, well, not necessarily. I think a lot of people were quite apologetic for, and can be apologetic for, Michael Jordan's attitude and the way he treated teammates. And he was a dick. Like, he was an absolute dick to some of his teammates.
Yeah.
But because he had such success, it's almost apologised for. Like, people are like, oh man, he needed to be that. It's almost excused, if anything. There are plenty of people who are dicks to teammates that never have that success, and they just disappear and fade off and no one likes them. But Michael Jordan, because he had such success, so yeah, so many people are accepting of just how much of a dick he was because he did so well. So don't get any mindsets like that, Caleb. Like, just humble, stay humble.
Maybe if we start winning, yo.
Exactly. Change it up completely. Hey, what did you do for lockdown? What were you doing? Were you trapped inside? Were you with the family? How did it roll?
Yeah, I came up to Auckland for level 4, and it took me 2 weeks to realise that I could actually leave my house to train. And so the first 2 weeks was definitely just Netflix, chill. We have a watt bike, so I was just sort of doing watt bikes and body weight exercise stuff. But no, other than that, just ended up getting out of the bar, not leaving the bar, but like sort of getting down to the park in the next 2 weeks, and then in level 3 traveled back down to Tauranga thinking that sevens would start up again, but then that didn't happen, so traveled back up as soon as we got to level 2.
So what's going on with the sevens then? Like, if obviously they're not, the Olympics aren't on, but would there still be boys contracted training and things?
Yeah. So the boys will get back together on next Monday. Sorry, so they have one more week. I think they'll have 3 or 4 weeks worth of training, and then see what happens from there for sevens, and in terms of sevens, because I know there's a few in the background to see what like the future for sevens in terms of being in New Zealand. So see what happens for them.
Hey Caleb, can you? I'm imagining here you're chasing your dream to go right. As Mark said before, I'm going to have a crack at sevens instead, and I want to try and get to Tokyo. Hopefully, like we've got our Sevens World Series to get through, but hopefully get through and I get to Tokyo and I have a crack to be in Olympic Games. And then this thing arrived in our lives, this COVID, as it happened. What was it? Did it feel a bit like watching a dream slowly like fade away? Were there bits where you're regretting turning on your phone to see if the Olympics are still on and stuff? Like, what's that like for you? Because it affected you very differently to a lot of other people.
I was just really gutted just to see, what sort of happened in the world. Because at that time, I was playing really well and having, meetings with the coaches. They were saying I was finally getting into that sevens sort of thinking and stuff like that in terms of game plan. And I started understanding the game, and then this all happened. So seeing that dream sort of slowly disappear, and then also having to leave Super Rugby as well, which added another element where I was thinking like, oh, did I sort of make the wrong choice leaving? And then all this happened, even though I didn't really know what was going to happen in terms of COVID-19, but still I left the Blues, and then now I can't even play sevens or any type of rugby. That sort of added a different element. But yeah, it was definitely hard just seeing that whole Olympic dream slowly drifting away as this whole coronavirus thing started revealing itself. And yeah, I was just real gutted, and sort of in this first few weeks of isolation, because as soon as we got back from Vancouver, we had to spend 2 weeks in quarantine, so we couldn't even leave our house. And then from those 2 weeks, went straight into New Zealand level 4 lockdown. Pretty much that whole time, it was just hard to stay motivated for anything, especially with not knowing what the future held for rugby or for sevens in terms of Olympics and the World Series. So yeah,
you're still young, so I reckon you'll get back there. Like, the Olympics going to come back. But now that you're back with the rugby, do you think that I know you're back with Auckland? Do you reckon that it'll be sort of a asterisk next to the winner, like, because they're not actual, like the Waratahs and teams like that aren't in the comp, so they're obviously not going to be as hard games.
I think it'll be.
God, wait,
games.
what was that? They're not going to be as hard because the Australian teams aren't it. Listen to him
Very well
chirp.
said, guys.
No, I think there's a saying in Super Rugby where when New Zealand teams play each other, that's that test level or test match level type footy, and so definitely whoever wins this comp, hope like I'm betting on the Blues, but whoever wins this comp will have like a lot of confidence going into the future of Super Rugby, because New Zealand, in terms of World Rugby, New Zealand rugby's up there, and so having 10 weeks of just straight versing each other.
Yeah.
Like when you said New Zealand rugby's up there, he's like, well, is it really? As if Australia.
We'll just forget about the World Cup, the last one that just went by. But every other time.
I thought it was COVID. We were struck with COVID.
Yeah.
It happened early to the Aussie team.
Sure. Caleb, for you, is there like the feeling of walking back into the team? Obviously, you know they got off to a good start. There was some real confidence within that Blues squad. Like going forward, I mean, it can only be stronger, right? You're back. I mean, Bodie Barrett's going to be there as well. No disrespect to anyone else who was there before them, but this is a humming team. It's hissing.
Yeah, definitely. And talking to Rangi, he's just been saying how competitive everyone's been, because you only get 23 players and it's a big squad, and so just trainings have been real competitive. And I was excited to hear that because I'm a competitive person, at nature, and so especially adding Bodie as well. Everyone would just be competing and just be growing the game at the Blues. So yeah, one, it's nerve-wracking, but two, I'm just excited for the challenge and just be grateful to play rugby again.
Did you guys feel like that when Caleb was saying that? Did you feel like that thing that he said before about going 60%? It's a really competitive team. Everyone's competing for space. Like 60% isn't happening, eh? Like
go out the window.
It's got to, man. Like there's so much talent on the team. You're right, and that's just even more. And people are pent up. Like they've got a lot of energy right now. They've had a big relaxing time and the chance to sort of recoup and injuries to dissipate. Like I think the Super Rugby competition that we're about to see as fans is going to be mind-boggling. The amount of pace, the amount of, these teams are fresh, really fresh and playing at a high pace, and no Australian teams to slow it down. I'm excited.
Interesting take.
Like, what's it like to be living in Aussie at the moment? Is it hard being away from like family and everything?
Yeah,
like
it is. That's the hardest thing. It's the same for all the boys. It's being away from family is like going to be the longest thing. So we're hoping the borders will open up so at least the boys can travel back and forth. But at the moment, the 5 months, like it's the worst thing at the moment is because you're stuck in between training and there's nothing to do because you can't go in each other's rooms. Like you can go out in the hallway and have a chat, but there's not too much mucking around you can do. And we're in Tamworth, so you can't really leave the hotel or past the field. Yeah, it's going to be bad when we get to the Central Coast though, because the NRL players can't leave their houses to go. Only essential, so they can go to training, come home, and I think if they got a partner, the partner has to go to the shop. Like it's an essential service to go to the shop.
I thought you meant for public safety.
Well, probably so that the game doesn't shut down. NRL cares about anyone else. So even we get there, we're on the beach, we're looking at the beach, can't go near the beach, can't go for a swim.
That sucks.
Man, it's gonna hurt.
It'll be hot too, eh? Hot and stuffy, and the boys will just be wanting to get out there. And so how much?
Not living over the road from a bakery.
Yeah, yeah. For the unathletic like us.
Roomies?
For me, yeah.
Eh?
Do you guys have roomies, or is it just
not at this place? So we're still in the 2-week isolation.
Oh yeah.
So we've got our own room, but at the next place they're like apartments. So we'll have 3 to a apartment.
Oh no.
Yeah.
How do they sort out who's who? Like who will go with whom? Is it be a friendship thing, or will the team go? You guys are either you together, you together.
There'd be boys I'd say that would go. I want him. I don't want him because he snores or he stinks the bathroom out, skid marks and stuff. So there's always that sort of stuff, man. Or people on the game all night.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they'll sort that out, I think, early, and they got the usual 3. Me, I'm just with the crew, our reporter crew.
The crew, the camera
Warriors
crew.
TV.
Yeah,
Warriors TV
crew
as well.
Caleb, what's usually the divvy up when it comes to Super Rugby travel and the Blues boys? Is it do you guys room together? This is before pre-COVID-19, but were you a good roommate? Were you selected? Were you the first to be selected?
I don't even know how on was sorted. I think it was just the manager did it, but he I think he just did it in your little friendships because I got roomed with my cousin Guppy. Isaiah
Oh yeah.
Papali'i's cousin Alex. So he's married to my first cousin, so I just say we're cousins anyway. So yeah, so I always got room with Guppy every time we went away. So I think the manager just did it like that. We didn't really have a say, or I didn't, but I was still happy. I got.
Would you consider yourself a good roommate? Because I've got a stepson who's 18 now, 19 actually, lives over in Japan, and it was always my worst night. I think as part of a dad, it's your job just to make sure that your son isn't a sack of shit and people don't want to live with them. Do you know what I mean? Like that is one of your sole goals. If you've got a daughter, keep her off the pole. If you've got a son, your job is just to make him easy to live with. And so shit like leaving clothes around, shit like not getting out of bed or making your bed, just like real basic shit that you can walk past the room and go, I quite like this guy. I can live with this guy. He doesn't make a noise and mess. How would you rate yourself in the in that arena?
I think I'm pretty good. I'm pretty clean. I'm not clean here at home, but I always have this thing of when I go away, I don't want other people to think that I'm a messy person. So I'll go I'll make my room messy. Like my room will always be messy.
Yes, that's good.
That's how I.
That's good.
Like my room. Controlled chaos. When I go away, I always keep it clean. So
what about the bed?
Yeah,
Like so,
I think my parents did all right.
You've got the people coming in and cleaning your bed and making your bed for you. Do you make your bed when you go away?
Oh, I try to. I feel so sorry for cleaners, especially when it comes to the rugby boys. Like we could leave for training, but someone might bomb the toilet, and then you can see like the cleaner's cart coming, or you can hear it.
Oh no!
And you're just like, we might put that sign of like, don't clean the room. Just save yourself.
The worst thing here is when the cleaners, if they come in and clean the room, you got a room to yourself, so you got no one to blame.
Yeah.
When you're in the room together, or you can go in other people's rooms, you can go, go relieve yourself in their room and just go, hey, do that place.
It's the worst. Like the worst thing. Like you want to make sure that you know you're paying for the service, or someone's paying for them to do the service, and it's their job, but you don't want to be their worst nightmare. Like you don't want to walk. They don't want to walk into the bathroom and you've just left like pubic hair everywhere and there's like afro corner. Like you've got. I'm very conscious when I stay away. Like everything has to be like I'll clean that shit before they do. I want them to think, man, what a lovely guy. I don't know who he is, but what a lovely guy. What a well brought up guy. So that's always
Mark and I roomed together for a week, and we were both trying to trick them. Like we did the thing where we, the drawers. Like this is my underpants drawer. This is my socks drawer. Like when really you're just getting in and out of your bag.
Nate's the greatest. Like Nate's a great roommate, but Nate he's the guy who unpacks his suitcase and puts his clothing into the actual drawers. Like I live out of my suitcase. I open it up, get clothing, close it up, and that's it. Nato grabs the robe. Remember Nato? Grab a robe straight out of the thing.
I always go the robe straight away. It's the first thing. I love the robe.
And the slippers. And the slippers.
Man. I love wearing the robe.
Does it fit? Well, mine never does.
Yeah, no, well, it's not going to fit you. Look at your shoulders. No, mine.
No, Caleb, it didn't fit. I never told Nate this, but it didn't really fit, but he made it work.
It was more about the wearing than the actual look of it, if you know what I mean.
The feel.
It was a feel. It feels luxurious if you're in a robe and that. Hey, now you mentioned before your old teammate from the Mags first 15, Isaiah Papali'i there, who's over there with Blake. So I think Blake, you're over there doing some Warriors TV. Caleb, what is there anything, a school story or something like that you might be able to pass on to Blake to get it, or you can have a think of just to get out of Isaiah, or was there a little particular training nickname that if Blake just drops in just once or twice at training that he might know?
No,
something to get under his skin.
I just remember this one time he always he talked about when he scored the try, he wanted everyone to do like this.
Oh yeah,
I don't know. I think like a train. Like he tried to start it. I remember when we played Auckland Grammar. That's when he brought it in, and every time he scored, I think twice that game, and he went like this. But no one else was doing it. But I think that week in school, he was trying to tell people, if I score, go like this. But it didn't follow.
We got dinner after this. We got dinner after this. Someone's going to walk past and go.
I don't even know if you'll remember. I think only I remember it because he told me. Oh, I can't even remember the prop for South Africa, Beast.
Yes. What's his
so
name?
whenever he got the ball, everyone would be like Beast. And so when he told me that story, I didn't believe him until I actually went to South Africa I actually went to play the Sharks, but I got injured in training, so I couldn't. But I just sort of witnessed it live of whenever he got the ball, everyone was like, beast. So that's how I remembered Isa's story, because he told me that, and that's what he wanted to bring in for when he scored. That was his inspiration.
It's going to be awesome.
You guys should have all turned your back, eh? Like, as soon as he goes like this, everyone's like...
Mate, I'm just going to let you know, in a lot of stories that I tell, I had plenty of GST. So if he comes back to you, there's going to be some added stuff there. I don't know where I'm going to go with it. I don't know where. But
I just hope he remembers. Like, school was a while ago, so let's hope he does.
Oh, man. You've all done so much, and you've done so well. Hey, that's awesome. Thank you so much for your time, brother. That's been it's been awesome to have you on, and we're viz to see the Super Rugby season get underway, and we're viz to have you back in it. So, all the very best, man, and good luck with that 60% training.
Quick question.
Yeah, I think he plays one.
You know how you're back in the Super Rugby now. Obviously, a couple of injuries with the Warriors. Any chance of you code swapping? Hey, I'm leaving out because I can go talk to him now if you're keen.
Okay,
I was actually really wanting to play league when I finished school, but it was my dad that said no. But I'm always keeping that door open because I played league in high school, so I'm definitely keeping that option open.
Leave it with me. We'll go 70.
Mate, Blake's just trying to get out of playing again. He's getting out of having to dust off the boots as the injuries start stacking up. And he's getting nervous. Like, they've got 2 injured at the moment. And I keep saying to him, Blake, it's only been a year, perhaps, maybe. Bit of Johnny Walker, bit of extra Walker in you. Come on.
Oh, no, mate.
He's calling on you, Caleb. Hey, thanks so much, brother.
While you're there.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
thanks,
awesome, awesome, my man. Hey, stay safe, all right? And we'll catch you around.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, brother.
Beauty. Thank you. There we go. I love that. You know what I reckon, Blake? I reckon you don't bring it up with him. You just basically tell the team and see how many of them can do that when he does something good at training before he figures out that everyone's doing something.
Yes. Oh, I'm going to run with that. And see how it is.
So go around and tell all the lads, look, when Isaiah was in high school, he wanted all the lads to do this when he scored a try.
Now wait, we're doing Sky's work here. This is a Sky episode. Do that. Film that, but hey.
Film the conversation.
You've got to film this.
Yeah. Film the conversation with each and every one of the boys.
I hope the boys are like, yeah, sweet, because a lot of them would just treat me like dirt, so they'll be like,
That's good as well.
Yeah.
Who's the most influential of the players? Who is the dude, once you get them doing it, everyone will do it?
Yeah.
Probably Leeson Armour is probably the most influential.
Well, don't do that. His pig's fucked.
Yeah, but he's scared of.
Yeah, no, that's the wrong muscle for the damn.
Yeah. I don't know. Everyone will tell Jazz to shut up. Maybe Greenie. We could get Greenie on.
Greenie will do it.
Rog and Greenie.
Rog. Yeah.
All right. Leave it with me.
Start with Rog and Greenie. So we also are stuck on the tease as well that we need to talk about a certain karate kick that was revealed in the media. It was from November, was it? Last year or something?
Oh yeah.
I don't know when
so
this
is the Cody Walker.
Yes,
Cody Kung Fu Walker.
The Cody Kung Fu Walker kick.
Cody Kung Fu fight. Yes.
Shall I try and find it while you guys chat and we can break it down and have a look at it?
Well, hang on, wait. I'll read the news headlines for the day. Here we are for May the 18th. Korea Football Club FC Seoul have apologised for using sex dolls as a fake crowd. They said it was mannequins.
Yes.
Super Rugby Aotearoa is back to training today. The Barrett brothers have been running. Geordie Barrett ran a time of 4:24.
Yeah, it's still pretty good.
That's pretty good. It's quite neat, actually. I'm trying to get the quote there because Josh Price pointed me out for this one. So at Hurricanes training, when it was brought up with the coach Jason Holland, Jason Holland's quote was, and when he found out what Bodie's time was, did he really? Oh shit! So there you go. So
I heard he said, we need the tape measure.
Yeah.
They want to
get the tape measure.
Oh yeah, nice.
And to be fair, if Rudu also got 4:12 was it? Or 4:14? He was only 2 seconds over. I think we need to get the tape measure out.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, there was a couple of worries, a couple of league things. But yeah, Cody Walker using the blackmail defence after footage emerged of a shirtless Walker kung fu kicking a guy. It says here during a fight. It doesn't really look like a fight. It's more of a shirts off. Come on, mate. Yeah. Come on. One of them, isn't it? Here we go. So we'll decide for ourselves. So, look, someone there trying to break it up.
He's already done the kick. He's already done
Aussie.
this, I think.
Okay,
Yeah.
let me come back. Jeez, still got someone
Okay, there we
who's
go.
watched it over and over.
There's shirtless man, but you're looking
Bang!
from the left. There he is, Walker there.
Bang! Bitch, get down! Both!
Well, I think you can use the sticking up for a mate defence,
Ah!
can't you?
Well, apparently it's his. I don't know. Just from listening to the audio, I think it's his cousin. So, like, if
Yeah.
your cousin's in trouble, you're gonna go.
Yeah.
I know they have him 1-on-1, so I don't know.
This
But-
is
Yeah.
Sparta!
No, when you think about it, that's like a great memory of Wally Lewis coming flying across the state of origin, like from the other side of the field there to join in. Should have pulled his pants up. I don't think that's good there for that.
I'm
but,
not offended by this. I'm really
No,
not
I'm not
offended by this
offended
at
by
all.
that.
Nah, I'm not offended at
No.
all.
I couldn't
No,
give a
no,
shit. Like, there's obviously some type of skullduggery going on. There's a ruckus. I don't know who's it between. Old mate's coming with a kick. It's a kick. It's not a. It hit him in the chest. I'd say he probably didn't get injured by that. And the dude's like squaring up to have a fight.
Someone's just using his name just to try and get money, and they're just going to try and release it. Like what? They had it. People had a fight. He's kicked the bloke.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm
it
not
is
bothered by
what it
that.
is.
Sorry if you're
You and me
outraged.
almost had a fight the other night.
Who?
I'm ready.
is what we'll do with that. I thought too, I thought the NRL story of the weekend for me, because I saw that and I thought, oh, look, the guy doesn't even fall over, and it's more of a get it. It's more of a go on, get out, you bugger, sort of kick. That's what I thought, a push kick.
Yeah.
Unless I don't know, maybe we call up Kai Cutter France to see if he can break us down. Is this actually a dangerous kick? Because I bet he'd say no. But the bit that I found really weird was, so I saw a story today and stuff that the NRL have turned down the Warriors' application for replacement players.
Yeah.
And I know that Cameron George has said we're going to have another go for this as well. But to me, I'm thinking, hang on, NRL, these guys left their families, flew across the Tasman. It was a bit confusing on the pay, and you got them there, and that managed to secure you the payment for the rest of the season that you've now got your hands on. It's like, why can't you let the guys have that? I find that really, really weird. At least to be able to pay for some sort of just replacement in the greater good of, this is not a normal year. We've got to get the comp going.
Well, I don't know how much of it is the NRL or it's other teams. But so you think it would benefit the other teams because there's no other competition. So all the Warriors ask them to do is we're going to pick some players, come over and help us, fill in a team, and they're going to get experience so that when they go, if you're needed in your team, they've already played first grade. They go back and play. But I think the teams are just hesitant in case something happens, or they can give secrets away, or so I don't know where the team's heads are at, to be honest. But I don't know how much of it is the NRL that they're getting blamed
Secrets
for.
away. Like, come on.
No, but then that's to me that's shit by the other teams, because it's the whole without the Warriors being there, you haven't got your competition this year. Like that's what Peter V'landys was saying the other week, right? It's got to happen. It's got to happen. So that's why the guys were sort of onto the plane. See you, babe. When are you back? I don't know. Might be 5 weeks. Might be 5 months. I don't know. And you're there. And I mean, for the other team, if it is the other team stopping that from happening, it's like get a bigger picture. I mean, like this year is going to be different for everything.
Yeah.
And it's kind of seems to be a bit like, okay, if this is our comp that we love and we want to make it work, you guys you got to help us out there, because Blake, if there's like not available to get, I don't know, like a Tigers reserve or a Bronco, I don't know, who Knights reserve, where would other players possibly come from that it would be okay?
Well, I don't know. Well, to be honest, I have no idea. As Super Rugby, maybe the players that maybe have
Isaac
contracts.
Yeah, the guy from Queensland didn't want to play.
Mate, it's going to happen. I just think that at the moment the Warriors can field a team. If one or two players go down in key areas, they're going to struggle. So they're going to have to. They're going to have no other choice than to go, look, here's these players, or you can bring these players in and over and things like that. They're going to have no other choice if the Warriors lose one or two more players.
No, I just want to say,
it's a game with collisions.
It's a game of collisions. So people are going to fall apart.
Someone gets injured every week.
Yeah,
exactly.
We've seen.
I've done a slack job of answering all our people who've been writing in on the stream tonight, and this one's a great one from John Sweetman. It says it's time to etch your name in legendary Blake. I'm guessing that means etch your name in legendary Blake. Stacey did it, so can you.
It's the return.
I'll tell you what, of playing around soccer with Stacey Jones, is that guy good at not good at, like he's good at everything.
Yeah.
Stacey Jones, he's an absolute freak. Mate,
Maradona.
I don't know, mate.
Maori
If
Donna.
I come back, I think another SIVO thing is going to happen. I can just see it.
A what?
Like a highlight for the wrong reasons.
Oh, right.
And then
Okay.
you get fended off. So I
don't know what you're talking
I
about.
haven't got a good feeling about it.
Right.
Although I did have 2 carries out there today, and one might have been the 10-meter little spurt down the side.
Is that right? Balls on the chest. Just
Balls on the chest. Nice. All right. Ivan Nelson said it's cooling off quickly in Cambridge after a sunny day. Clear skies at the moment, and heading for a 3 degrees overnight. Always a little weather chat. Thank you guys all for watching. Thank you so much for taking part. I did write down a couple of notes of what I wanted to talk about tonight, Nato. So I'm just going to quickly spout them at you with no comment afterwards. Involving Japan's top league winners in the playoff series for a top Super Rugby side. So what's the Japan top league called? Is it called the top league?
Yeah, it is the top league. So this is like clubs like Kubota Spears.
Yeah. So you get a
boys,
winner of obviously for this, you get winner of a New Zealand Super Rugby, winner of Australian Super Rugby, winner of South African Super Rugby, and they'd go up against the top 2 super sides. They're not super sides, the top league sides. Overwhelming majority of players support a return to play for the NBA. Commissioner Adam Silver will decide in 2 to 4 weeks' time whether the season will resume or they'll just call it off and play next season. But most of the players want them to play.
Yeah.
And something a pussy quote. And we were discussing earlier today, Nato, and something we would like to get into further tomorrow night as well. The idea of sports that work without a crowd.
Yeah.
We decided UFC definitely working well without a crowd.
Definitely works without a crowd. Yeah.
Bundesliga
Motorsport does. But motorsport does, because you don't really, the crowd is just in the back of shot. It's more like, wow, that's it, right? But yeah, the Bundesliga, did that get mixed reviews? Because, obviously football, biggest sport in the world, so many people wanted to see it and they were there. And then a lot of people, I think they felt, I like football, but I'm not emotionally attached to either of these teams. And now when they're just kind of passing it around at the back to get at the front, now it really seems like nothing's happening. And there was a lot of really, really confused Englishmen, and I felt really sorry for them. And I was listening to one of the English radio stations. There's guys ringing up like, I mean, I love me football, but it's left me empty. It's left me empty. And they were really gutting, because they've been dying to see something for
Mate, because their stuff starts at the pub at say the games are like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They start at the pub at like midday or earlier.
Yeah.
Work their way up, singing songs. The football's only a little bit of their whole day.
You're right.
That game would have just been like,
it's an event.
what have we been doing?
I mean, maybe that's kind of actually quite a good thing for the ego of the fan. You're like, you do need us for this. Yes, you are kicking a ball better than I ever can in my life, but you need the singing, you need the chanting, you need a bit of that. So I don't know whether they'll pipe that over, but yeah. So that was definitely the one. But the one that looks the dumbest without any crowd at all is the wrestling. Especially since the UFC's come along. Remember in the first couple of days, WWE, you're like, oh, this is great. Now you're like, no, just
because it has made me go back and watch old school wrestling matches now. Like
those are better because you get a crowd.
Yeah, right? But the crowd, like I've been watching some Bret the Hitman Hart styles. I was watching the Dark Side of the Ring. Has anyone seen that documentary series?
Yeah, I've seen a couple of episodes.
Vice.
Yeah.
It's so good, Nato. You will love it. It's Dark Side of the Ring, and Vice have done it, and they just pick on a certain moment in wrestling history, and they will give you the absolute, like, everything about that moment. Like, they've obviously got the Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit death and murder-suicide that happened with that. Jimmy Superfly Snuka. Snuka. Sorry, Snooker. Yeah. Snooker. He his story and how I believe he murdered someone, and then
that ended horribly in the end, and the CTE in his brain was
But there's also other things like the Montreal Screwjob. Have you heard of that? The Montreal Screwjob.
Yeah.
Who got robbed of their belt?
Shawn Michaels stole the belt off Bret the Hitman Hart. He had no idea he was going to get the sharpshooter done on him, and the referee was going to ring the bell, and all the background noise behind how that happened.
Spat on Vince and then
spat on Vince
or something.
Yeah, so the Dark Side of the Ring. If you've got some time and you want to throw back because the wrestling is quite bad at the moment, definitely go there. Will Miller says marbles. Definitely marbles are still workable without a crowd. Andy, great show tonight. Great to start to the week. Cheers, boys, and suit up, Blake, and just get paid in Johnny Walker bottles.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
No, man. No, you've got dinner to get first. You got dinner to eat first.
Oh, sure.
No,
walk up there pissed.
Be like that at dinner.
All right,
remember, you can find us on iTunes. You can find us on Spreaky. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us right here. You can tell people about it, and that's even better.
And the Try-Back.
Tell people about it. Invite them along.
Try-Back. Yes, sport it.
Yep.
Start the kick off before your sport. Good on
Brilliant too. And tomorrow night, guys, we will have finished all of the Last Dance. I want to get your ideas for what Last Dance series could follow. Right? Who else needs a Last Dance? We'll know tomorrow night. Righto.
Clarke
there.
too. Get ready, Blake. They're going to call
Here it
you
comes.
up, son.
Here it comes. You're going to get there.